What's up? I tried taking my glasses off for a second because the light is like going in the frame, the lens. But as soon as I took off the glasses, blind like a bat.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother to play that game, but I've been blind
Yeah.
longer.
So 8 o'clock. Welcome everybody to Safe Space Today. We usually have these shows Thursday nights live on the other page, but it's not working. So we're gonna always have the shows on this page. If you guys happen to come on, the titles will be there. Tonight, we're going to have an interesting conversation that, I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about. And basically, the title is When History is the Only Thing That's Holding the Friendship Together.
Mhm.
You know, when you have those friends that, you've been going to school with them or you've known them since you were small, you know. And as time goes by, just things kind of frizzle out. And this is, don't get me wrong, this is not for every friendship. This is just some that, it
One of my
happens.
interests, it's 'cause it kind of was my break. It's something that I was sitting thinking about, like and it happened to me, when you realize that at some point or another that a bulk of the friends that you have are only friends that you have because maybe you went to school with them, maybe proximity, they lived in your area, whatever it may be. But in all honesty, you really don't have much in common. So that's kind of what we wanted to go on today. So let's talk about it.
Have you ever looked at somebody and felt throughout the years and, when that fizzleness comes and then you never hear from them again? Have you ever thought to yourself, we don't talk anymore?
Um, I'm usually the reason that me and most people stop talking, whether it be in a good way or a bad way. I'm not the best at keeping in touch, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for the people who end up not really, and this is me now. This is not me before. For the people who don't fit in the current bubble of my life, um, I mean, I wasn't staying in contact with them, and I just won't make an effort to try to hunt them down or contact them. Years ago, um, actually, no, years ago it was even worse because we didn't even have cell phones. We didn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it really was just, I just stopped talking to people. And I was always the odd man out anyways. Like I was the one that never felt like I fit in with a lot of my friends. Like we had athletics in common, we had proximity in common. Outside of that, there was really not a lot that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you ever feel uncomfortable reaching out to them after a long period of time? Like, as years go by, it's just silent, but then they come to your mind. Have you ever thought in your mind, okay, let me just pick up the phone and, okay, alrighty then.
It'll more so be if I ran into them somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh, would I make the effort to walk, 20, 30 feet to go say hi or raise my hand up really high? Hey, holy shoot, haven't seen you in forever. Or me being me, would I just duck like, oh shit?
Mm,
There's only a couple of them that I've made much of an effort to reach out to because for me, like I said, and why this came to my mind is because that is me who even even not young, but like by high school, I recognized that I wasn't friends with my friends.
hmm
Like I didn't care to do anything with them outside of school. Like I didn't even make an effort. If the things that we were doing lined up that we were going to be doing it together, then sure. Because of my personality, I was always one of those people that people are like, oh, is Sean coming? Is Sean coming? But I didn't care much to do the same things as them. I wasn't into the same things as them.
hmm
Um, it-
Even at that age?
yeah, yeah, even at that age. Because outside of just running around playing sports, getting into fights, things like that, like there wasn't anything that I found like really gripping or interesting or whatnot about my friends. And there was a point where I fought with my friends all the time. Like I argued with them, I fought with them, like everything all the time. Like, but
Okay.
they were still my friends, and that's just what friendship seemed like to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, do you think it's possible to grow apart without drama?
Yeah, yeah, we did. The whole fighting and arguing and stuff like that. That's just what we were like as kids. Like we were like little loudmouth, like rambunctious. Like everything we did was loud. Everything we did was like high energy. So like we weren't fighting each other because we didn't like each other. Like we'd fight each other, and then somebody would bring a ball and be like, "All right, let's go play basketball instead." Right? It was like that. It wasn't like in an angry way. That's just what our friendship was. Um, all we did was insulted each other, like made jokes about each other, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like we definitely grew apart without drama. Like I ran into one of my friends like a few years ago, and
Mhm.
we had a conversation. We everything was fine, but all we had that we could talk about was like, yeah, I remember growing up we did this, remember growing up we did that. Because beyond that, there wasn't anything that you know what I mean, like we would be able to talk about.
Mhm. Okay.
It definitely was drama free.
Uh-huh.
Um, so for you, did you find that you went down the same road, or like all of your friends or the bulk of your friends you stay friends with?
Yeah, I had some that I've kept since elementary school from then till now, and nothing, we never really fizzled out or anything. But then there are some that I used to, they lived right downstairs. I would go to their house every single weekend. I would help to deliver the paper with them. We were together almost every day, all the time. We'd go to Wonderland, like everything together. But as soon as, we just, when we did reach a certain age, it just kind of faded away. Like she moved with her mom and we still lived in the same building.
Mhm.
Then you would think that even if she's gone and she moved far away, that we would still pick up the phone and talk to each other, right? But no, it's just she moved and took the friendship with her, and it just
So
happens like that sometimes.
so what was the thing that made you start realizing that your friendship was the people? And did the friendship change? Like, is this somebody that you're still able to be friends with, or was it more so you realized that you were different people?
Yeah, after a while, you just realize that you're different because you'd be the one to call all the time, but
Mm.
there's never really a response. You're always the one that's calling. You're always the one that's you know, trying to reach out, but there's no response. So you don't want to, well, for me at least, like I don't want to feel like that neg,
Mm.
and after a while it kind of dies on my side when there's no effort being made as a balance. Um, but yeah, I just kind of realized, and you kind of figure it out, put two and two together, one plus one is two, and they just went their way, and I
Mhm.
kind of went mine. Now, every so often, like now that there's Facebook and all these things, like every so often, there would be a comment made on a picture or like a little shout through the messenger, but that's about it. But so I don't see my live stream on my home page. So I have to actually search your page.
Oh,
Oh,
that's not cool.
it's not cool. I'll invite
Thank
people
you for inviting people. Thank you for letting us know. So, um, so like I asked that question, but for me, it's funny because I I'm the misfit. Like I was the one that was like I was always a little nerdier than my friends. And I didn't care about it. Like I didn't
in.
mind, right? Um, I I just wasn't into like other than like I said, the sports, the fighting, the riding our bikes, this kind of stuff. I just wasn't into most of what they said and did. Like I have a lot of friends that started smoking young. I've never smoked. I've never been into what I mean, into that kind of stuff. Like I like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Not like I was Mr. Goody Goody because I certainly wasn't, right? Um, but I just never quite felt like I fit in with my friends. And I did I did as much as I could to fit in when need like when you know what I mean when I needed to, but like sometimes I just couldn't wait to leave. Like you know what I mean? Like after hanging out for a while, and like if there was any reason to get to break to go, like I couldn't wait for it.
Hmm.
But it was weird because at the same time, I did I did want to hang out with them because I didn't have any other friends, right? Like these were the people.
Hmm. Okay. So do you think it's possible for friendships to come back, but just in a different form?
I'm sure it is, but I haven't seen it, right? Because I mean, I th- I think the me that I started becoming, there's no reason that any of them couldn't start becoming a similar person, or
Hmm.
they couldn't have been going through the same thing because I never spoke about it to anybody, right?
Yeah.
Um, I just kept to myself and whatnot. Like, there's none of my friends that were like, "Oh, Sean's more into art than into," and Sean actually is already thinking about business at a young age. You know what I mean? None
Hmm.
of us are. Like, and so I said, like, I was really like compared to my friends, I was really a nerd. I was into stuff that none of them were into, right?
Yeah.
And like that was it. But like, there's so my absolute best friend when we're kids, um, he and I stopped talking for about 20 years, and then he just hit me up on Facebook, and we talked here and there since, and I can tell that like we would get along better, like we would get along again now. So it's entirely possible. Like I haven't made much, and that's because of who I am, right? I haven't made much effort to try to like, oh, let's meet up, let's go for drinks, let's this, let's whatever, right?
Hmm.
But I could tell that we'd be fine if we ran back into each other. So yeah, I think it's possible.
So did you, when he did reach out to you, and I'm assuming you guys kind of caught up a little bit,
Mhm.
did anything um, that changed with him without throughout all those years, anything that changed that made you say, okay, well, this isn't so bad. Um, he has his own business. He's doing this now. He has a wife and kids. Yeah, maybe I should kind of open up a little bit more.
No, for me, what it was I just, and I've done this with a lot of things. I just made the decision years ago to just start leaving the past in the past,
Hmm.
and I just treated talking to him, except for the fact that obviously there was a lot of stuff that we knew about each other and whatnot. Just treat him like it's somebody that I just met, and see
Okay, that's
what
interesting.
level of friendship that we have. Because if I talk to him exclusively, or if I looked at when he first initially messaged me as, my friend from back in the day, I'd have probably been like, ugh. You know what I mean, and not responded. But I just said, you know what, let me just start leaving the past in the past and see what's there. Like I'm a different person now. I think differently, I whatnot. So no reason why he can't as well.
Okay, okay,
If I, for like a lot of my friends, like or old friends, anyways, if I see too many elements of who I expect you to be or who I know you to be, then yeah, I'm out.
okay, got it.
So for you, because it seems like you've differently than me have been able to hold a lot of your friendships together throughout the years. Whereas I could say of my friends growing up, I'm still friends, like active friends with one single person. Um,
Hmm.
for you, do you think that or have you ever felt that some of your friends are just friends because they've always been your friends? Like you're just friends based on loyalty, or do you think that there's like a solid reason why a lot of you guys are still friends?
Yeah, both for both. Like I said, there are friends that I've had since
Hmm.
6 years old, seven, still friends till this day. And loyalty is definitely there, and history is definitely there. But for some people, it's interesting because you have that. You have loyalty is, but the history, of course, it's there. Um, but you just fizzle out. You just the lanes change. It's not the same. And that's something that I've had. Um, I've definitely had that, and that's just unfortunately that's how it is. But I think people's mindsets are just different. People have different goals and different, ways of life, and it just doesn't align anymore. So, that's just how it is. And mind you, whoever's watching, this the title is, I think the title's up there. I have to learn
Hmm.
how to pin it, but it's basically when history is the only thing holding the friendship together. That's what the topic of discussion is about. So if you have any comments or thoughts or anything that you want to say, feel free to comment. We will answer questions and we'll reply. You can send hearts or whatever you need to do, but this panel is open to everybody.
Yeah. So let me ask you this one. Um, and this one just popped in my head. Do you have any friends, and I can answer this as well, who throughout your friendship you felt like I don't think this person even likes me?
Yeah, I've had that thought, but it's very rare, and it
Hmm.
from what I can recall and remember, I remember it happening one time because I would always reach out to this person always, and I would never get a response. And then when I do, after a long period of time, it's just, oh, I'm so sorry. I was so busy, and I understand that. Like, we're all busy, but all the time. So yeah, I have had that thought before. And
Hmm.
maybe I don't know, maybe they did, maybe they don't, I don't know. But they made me feel that way. So
That right there, your friends trying to hold you a slave to the old you is so true.
I've had to
Uh,
cut out most of them.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
oh,
filter.
I do friend inventory all the time, and not even just inventory, just people in my life inventory. I do it all the time. But the reason I asked is because, and this is kind of where you recognize it, and I remember this happening to you, so I'm surprised that you didn't bring this one up. Um,
Oh,
I've
the
had
oh,
periods. I've had periods where when something good happens to me or happens for me or around me, and I try to tell it to one of my friends or several of my friends, whatever. Their response is so not like you would expect a response to be from somebody hearing something good happen to somebody that you like or love. You know what I mean? Like they always give you, instead of just being happy for you, they give you something to, oh, well, you better watch out for this, or oh, I'm sure that happened, or there's always something that comes back where they try to limit the joy that you have from the thing that happened to you.
mhm.
Um, and I started to pick up on that from some of my friends, even young. So I think I told the story before in one of the other conversations that we had where uh, I was the nerdy kid who didn't know that I was all that good at sports, and then when I started running track, or like it's just a weird story how I ended up in track. But when I started running track, it turned out that I was the fastest um, in my school, and that ended up turning out that I was the fastest in Ontario, and I won OSA in the 200, anyways, not one OSA in the 100, but I won OSA. I ended up in Mazda Track Club, and the same friends that I had who were all athletes as well, all had all this crazy shit to say about me when I ended up in Mazda Track Club. Yeah, like, yeah, but I'm sure this guy's still faster than you, and that guy's still faster than you. I'm like, they run in the Olympics. Of course they're faster than me. You know what I mean? And just things like that. Like they always try to make whatever happened to me sound worse than it was. And I remember a situation where something happened like that to you, and you told one of your friends what happened, and instead of being happy for you, he just snapped, and his entire message was like from start to finish. And I said to you, that guy was just waiting for an opportunity to say all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, those are the kind of people, because that's more of a fresher friendship, and
Hmm.
that one was easy to filter out because I didn't have a history with them. I
Hmm.
had one, but it wasn't a back in the day type of history, so I didn't really care. I
Hmm.
cared, but I didn't care. I cared where I was just like, whoa, I can't believe they just left me this message or said what they said. But then
Hmm.
after it didn't take too long to.
More so than they have you ever had. How do you navigate the friendships today that you realize I don't think this is a fitting friendship. I don't think it's a real friendship. Um, the life this person leads, I don't want that around me. That type of thing. And even if this is somebody that's been in your life for a long time, you start to recognize now that either this person's not growing, this person is too negative, this person's holding me down, things like that.
I've experienced that where I had to finally put my foot down, and
Hmm.
this person and I had a history, like a really good history, and I would just keep giving them chances, because I knew that we had something. Like, I love this person, I really did,
Hmm.
but the thing was just consistent, where it was just always negativity, um, with a specific thing all the time. And I never said anything to make this person say something
Hmm.
in a negative way, but this person would just consistently say negative things about this particular thing. And I think from then, the last straw was not too long ago, to be honest. And I just I had to filter it. I'm like we're getting too old, man. Like, stop it.
Hmm.
I knew from then that I had to go a different direction because mentally we're going in two different directions, and they didn't really have too much that I would kind of want good for them. Um, they weren't consistent, or they didn't show that they wanted to do good for themselves.
Yeah.
It was just the same story, and things like that helped me make the decision to go a different path. Wasting
So did
time
you have a conversation with them? Did you just
many
disappear? Like,
times.
what did you, okay.
Oh, like
Like
to
how
end
did
it.
you
It just stayed silent after a while. It stayed silent. Like, we kept giving each other one word text messages, and then it kind of fizzled out.
Mhm. Um,
And it was
I
fine.
do. Do you find for you that it's more males that are giving off? And this is a question that is posed to us, who are giving off the hatred, or more females?
But do you find more males who are giving off hatred more than no? I have a lot of female friends. I have a lot of a good balance. But if I were to choose between the
Like
two,
who's giving
then
off? Who's the ones that are giving off more hatred? Do you find?
yeah, if I were to choose between the two, it'd be female. But it's not many females. But I hear a lot of stories about a lot of females being the ones to help you make the decision with keeping that history alive or moving on with
Mhm.
the history. But I Figgy, what about you? What are your experiences with with that same question? Do you find more males right now you have from your history or more females?
Well, I'll answer while she types. For me, I find it's more males. But I think what it is, I think in a male female friendship, I think the if they're actually friends, the friends are a little bit more wow, different than what I thought. I find the friendship's a little more real. Um, so for me, it's more males. No, for her, it's more males as well.
More males that you have to cut out or you keep?
I think are more the ones that pose the hatred.
Oh, more males that pose the hatred. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, going back to the how do you navigate your way through those friendships? Because I think this is kind of a helpful question, and that's why I asked it because I wanted to hear your response. You know me, I'm a little bit more cut and dry. Like I don't
You
care
don't
much about
care.
people's feelings. um, there was a time when I did. There was a time when I did, and it took me forever to break out of those friendships that I realized that I didn't want to be a part of. I went probably a good 10 extra years with one of my friends, knowing that whole time that I didn't like the way this guy treated me, that I didn't like how our friendship was, anything like that. I could tell that it was a very selfish, one-sided friendship. Um, like he was like at the top of the list of people who, if something good happened to me, he'd knock it. If something, you know what I mean, bad happened to me, he was right there for it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. He would. I couldn't rely on him for anything. He would make like I could rely on him, and then when it came down to it, when it was too late to get somebody else to help instead of him, all of a sudden he'd disappear.
Hmm.
It was horrible friendship at that point. So that one I stuck in for a long time, and when it ended, there was a lot of cursing and a lot of swearing. Um, of late, like new me, if I realize that that's the type of friendship it is and that's where it's going, um, I will either just cut and run because I don't think that I owe anybody an explanation for why it is I'm not going to be friends with them. That's part of not being like if I'm not friends with you, I don't care if you don't like me, and I don't care if you talk crap about me. Go ahead. The people that really know me know the way you're saying is garbage, right? And I don't. You don't hear me say that all the time. Um, that or I will, because there's a portion of me that's very confrontational. I will happily have a hard conversation with you. But that one has to be for somebody who I've been friends with, because
Hmm.
then I owe it to them for me, for them to know why I don't want to hear from them again.
Hmm.
And that's when I have those conversations where you've heard me say when I say to them, it's not really a conversation, it's a monologue. So I don't
Hmm.
want to hear anything they have to say,
Hmm.
and then I say my piece and I'm out. Um, but you have to protect your piece, and then for that, do you have the conversation or not really comes down to the person that you have to speak to, not just your for me it comes down to the person that you have to speak to. Do I want to waste more time in that person's presence,
Hmm.
or have we gone far enough? Do I feel like I really need to waste this time? And if you don't, or if you don't see where it could possibly go well, then
Excuse me.
for your peace, and that's the most important thing, it's better to just cut and run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only reason that I would say or endorse having that conversation is if you see having that conversation help. And I don't mean help as in fix the situation, but have that conversation, give that person the understanding to now leave me alone after this.
Okay.
Because the last thing that you want is to go through that entire conversation just for them to call you back tomorrow.
Yeah. I think I think for me it's not it's not bad blood or anything. It's just we just went different directions.
No, it's
For
not. I'm
me,
not.
for me.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it from a it's about bad blood situation. I'm saying it from a protecting your peace situation.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't have to be bad blood. Like I grew up with one guy who, I mean, maybe now he finally understands that he's an adult and there's value in having an actual relationship with a girl. But up till maybe 7 or 8 years ago, the last time that I ran into him, he was still a teenager in his mind. Like his conversation was the, oh yeah, I met this girl the other day and this, that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I met one 8 years ago and we're still together. You know what I mean? But for him, it was still like he was still a child. So when I stopped talking to him, it wasn't about bad blood. And I didn't feel a need to have a lengthy conversation with him about why I'm not going to hang out with you. It was just as simple as any offer you give me to hang out is an offer that I'm not going to be interested in doing. I'm not going to the club with you. I'm not going to the like this place with you or that place. Like we're not going on a girl hunt. So the answer is going to be no to everything you have to offer. So I didn't feel much of a need to have a big lengthy conversation with him. You know what I mean?
Somebody has a question. How do you go about cutting people off? Is it abrupt or subtle or burn bridges or random from left field or you're asking Sean that?
You don't know me then. Bridge
Let's
Fibon,
just
yes.
say it's the first thing you said.
Bridge Fibon.
I said you could give two craps.
Yeah, no, you know what? Put for me, and I say this to you too, put you first. Um, if the only way is to burn the bridge, it's probably because there's no value in that friendship. And there's still engineers in this world, there's still people that know how to build things. So if the bridge needs to be fixed, they can fix the bridge, or somebody can fix the bridge, right? I could care less about burning bridges. Who cares? It does not matter to me. Um, I've you hear me say this all the time too. If somebody has to feel bad in the situation, if somebody has to be uncomfortable in the situation, I want it to be the other person. Um, because if I'm trying to get out of the friendship, it's because you've made me feel bad and feel uncomfortable long enough. So now it's your turn. So I don't care. At that at that point, I put very little value into how you feel. I wasn't put on this earth to protect people that won't protect me. So, however that has to go.
I think I'm more like a quiet little mouse. Like
But you're a
if
fixer. You're a fixer by
I
nature.
do. I like to fix things. I like to, I want to work it out. I want to communicate. If
Mhm.
it is fixable or if I really do want to hold on to that, what we had thing, I'm like I want to work it out. But if I see where it's still going left instead of going right, then I just kind of
Mhm.
phase out. And then
But
you don't talk to
that's
me, I won't talk to you.
yeah, and this goes to Figgy too. That's where I was saying before. If there's true value in pursuing the conversation, right? Then you pursue it. But there's no point in pursuing the conversation just for that person to stick around when the entire base of this conversation was you've got to go
Hmm.
or I've got to go.
Yeah.
However it is, we need to split. So if you're going to have that entire conversation and that person's still going to stick around, then don't have the conversation because the likelihood is that person's probably somebody that if you didn't contact them, they wouldn't contact you.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. Have you ever silently rooted for somebody that you are no longer closer to or close to?
But again,
Like, have you ever silently rooted for someone? If you were to, for example, see them on Facebook, you don't talk to them at all, and you see that they have their own business, they have this, that, da 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 da. Would you silently root for them and say, "Oh, good for him," or would you
yeah,
reach out?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. In
Would you
so many ways.
physically?
Actually, like just because we're not friends doesn't mean I don't want bad things to start happening to you. You know what I mean? Like we're just not friends. We're just not compatible. There's none of them that I'm like, I hope they get hit by a car, or I hope that every time they put gas in the car, it immediately drains out, or you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like no, I don't wish bad on any of them. It's not to that point. And that's actually probably not actually, but that's probably part of why I want to cut and run as fast as I can, or get out of that situation as fast as I can, so that my mind doesn't turn to that,
Hmm.
right? But yeah, no, I don't wish bad on any of them. So yeah, if good things are happening to them, then great.
Yeah.
Not also if you we say this all the time, and it's not just us saying it; it's the truth, right? Um, like angry people think angry thoughts, right?
Hmm.
So if and the exact opposite of that, right? Too, like happy people think happy thoughts. So maybe if these people that I'm no longer compatible with, maybe if more good things start happening around them, they put themselves in more of a positive bubble. Maybe the next time I see them, it'd be easier to have a conversation with them.
Hmm.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? First, have you ever had a friend re-enter your life after some time had passed?
Yes, I did.
You asked me
I
that.
have.
You did that too. Go
Well,
ahead.
yes, to 100%. I've had a friend that we that did enter into my life, and I was like very, very, very happy about this. This is someone that I went to high school with, and someone that I love very dearly. She's actually following us on our page, so she'll probably eventually see this show. Um, and yeah, this girl, she was the one that after high school, she would come to my house. We would, you know, hang out in my basement. We would listen to music. And her mom and my mom and her dad, they knew that we were good kids and said things about us, and they were friends, and everything was so great. It's just after high school, the same thing. Like she went her way, I went my way. Usually that's how it is. Like after high school, everyone just kind of disperses and does their own thing. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I should say. And I never heard from this girl. Like I didn't know where she was. She would come in my mind every so often, and I went as far as posting on Facebook on the where you put your thoughts or whatever.
Mhm.
I even went as far as saying, if anyone's heard from so and so, please contact me. I'm trying to get a hold of her. Like I fully put that on the Facebook
Mhm.
thing that they have there. And someone did reach out to me, and long story short, they connected us together. She gave me her phone number, and we talked, and we were able to rekindle what we lost back in high school, and now we're like, she has her own business, she's doing her own thing, so every so often we'll reach out, but this is a different type of every so often because she's truly busy, but
Mhm.
we still will send each other memes and jokes, and that's how we show each other that the love is still there, because the history that we had was amazing, and that's a history that I would never ever want to ever die, and I wouldn't want our friendship to fizzle out. So, but
Mhm.
I just wanted to say that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But but tonight it was just about how we feel about the history of our friendships. Do we keep them? Do we
Mhm.
let them go? Um, and this conversation too is also a part of healing. It's a part of healing. It's still love. It's just different. It's just certain people going down different roads, depending on who you are. You may go left, you may go right, and you wish them well, and you will do well yourself. So that's pretty much it for tonight.
Protect your peace. Sort of the same thing
Yeah,
that I
protect your peace.
everything with. Protect your peace. It's fine if somebody doesn't fit into your bubble. It's fine if somebody does fit into your bubble. And sort of like your comment about friends coming back into your life. I've had almost not the same situation, but a weirder one where I ran into somebody who I went to junior high school with. We were not friends in school. We walked in complete different crowds, and we get along famously now. Like we spoke. It was so bad that I didn't even know for sure that I knew him. Like he told me everything about me, and I was like, oh, now I remember who you are. And then we started talking, and we got along great.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then that kind of even put it in perspective for me as well, like how different I was from my friends because I get along with this guy and not the vast majority of my friends growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is sometimes. So, guys, that's what it is. That's what Safe Space is all about. It's about healing. It's about sharing our thoughts and our truth about titles and topics like this. And this is the type of things that we talk about every week. We choose different topics, and it's important to have conversations and communicate. So I would like to end off by saying that, and have a wonderful night. You will see us again next Thursday on this Instagram page. Okay, so if you want to follow us on YouTube, you can. We're up. We have a whole bunch of different topics. We're building. We're new, and we're going to continue. And we will have this show on that page as well. And you're welcome to subscribe and have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.